Students, as you know, the rearing of a silkworm to obtain the natural fiber silk is called a sericulture. And sericulture is a good and profitable business for the farmers. That's why the person who rears the silkworm, to them we are saying the silkworm farmers or sericulture farmers. And this sericulture is mainly done in our India in a different states like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. Here, in the rearing of a silkworm, the female silk moth plays a very important role. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time, and then these eggs are stored on a strips of cloth or a paper by the farmers. Then these eggs farmers selling to other farmers or sericulture center, and when the farmer takes these eggs from the sericulture center or by another farmer, they used to keep these eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. Here hygiene, temperature and humidity, these are important factors during the hatching period of these eggs. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larvae to hatch from eggs, and once when after hatching of the eggs the larvae comes out, the farmers provides or gives them the mulberry leaves as the food. And this caterpillar stage, these larvae are kept in a clean bamboo trays along with the freshly chopped mulberry leaves for 25 to 30 days. And nowadays, some farmers are using the plastic trays also to keep these larvae. But traditionally, the bamboo trays are referred to keep these all caterpillars in their caterpillar stage, and continuously every day the farmers are providing them the freshly chopped mulberry leaves for their proper growth for about 25 to 30 days. And when once this caterpillar stage it will complete, and after fourth molting stage the caterpillar stops their eating of the mulberry leaves, as this everything you studied in our last video. Okay, then here when this caterpillar stage it is going to finish, at that time these larvae or caterpillar farmers are moving from the trays to the bamboo chambers. Means in a small bamboo chambers they are keeping separately the each larvae to facilitate to their pupa stage. And in the pupa stage mainly the cocoon formation it will complete, and when once the cocoon formation it will complete and the adult silk moth it will come out from the cocoon, that time farmers collecting these all matured cocoons, and then they are sending it for the boiling process. And here when these cocoons are boiled in the water, and again they are drying it under the sun rays, after that the silk fibers are separates out, and the process of taking out the threads from the cocoon and used as a silk fiber, this process is called as reeling of the silk. Here the silk fibers mainly separates out from the cocoon. Okay, and here this reeling procedure is done, and then only we can get the reel of the silk fiber. And at the end of the reeling process, the unwound threads or fibers of a silk, whatever the farmers getting from the cocoons, that fibers are used for the further process, that is a spinning. And with the help of spinning the silk yarn preparation is possible, and after that the silk yarn is used for the weaving procedure. And once weaving will complete, then only we can get the silk cloth or silk fabric. And dependent upon the different varieties of silk moth, the different types of silk fibers also getting, and that difference is arises based on a texture, that is a coarse, smooth or shiny appearance. So mulberry silk, kosa silk, tussar silk, such a type of silk varieties are present in the market. And for reeling and spinning nowadays different machines also available. So this reeling and spinning processes are done mainly with the help of different machines. Nowadays sericulture is majorly done in India in a different states like Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Assam and Jharkhand. Students, up to here we completed all the given points of chapter 3, that is sources of wool, rearing and breeding of a sheep's, processing of a wool fiber, after that the life cycle of a silk moth, again rearing of a silkworm, sericulture, and the processing of a silk fiber to silk cloth. At the end of this chapter, I am going to tell you one story about the discovery of silk. Are you ready to listen this story? This story is related to the invention of silk fiber, and this is a very interesting story. So let us listen about it. The exact time of discovery of silk is still unknown, but according to an old Chinese legend, it is sure that the invention of silk fiber it happened in China. And though the silk industry began in China, it was kept a closely guarded secret for hundreds of years. But after that, due to some traders and travelers, these silk fibers and silk cloth was introduced to other countries. And the route by which these travelers and traders traveled is still called the Silk Route. According to an old Chinese legend, the Empress Si Lung Chai was asked by the Emperor Hong Ti to find out the cause or the reason of the damaged mulberry leaves which these mulberry trees growing in their garden. And after that the empress started the observation of the mulberry plants and the leaves. That time she found the white worms eating up the mulberry leaves, and she also noticed that these white worms were spinning the shiny thread-like structure around them, that means the cocoon covering. And in their observation, when they were observing that time, only accidentally a cocoon dropped into her cup of tea. And when she tried to separate this cocoon from that hot tea, that time a tangle of delicate shiny thread separated out from this cocoon covering. And that time onwards, they started the observation of the growth of these white worms. And at the end of this cocoon formation, when they put these cocoons in the boiled water, that time they separated out this shiny thread-like structure, to that only we call today the silk. And like this way the invention of a silk fiber took place in the China, and that's why the China is the origin of these silk fibers. And due to this shiny whitish yellowish silk fibers, we are able to prepare the silk saris. Now in India, different states are famous for the manufacturing of the silk saris. Nowadays different color silk fibers are available. Then naturally this silk fibers we are getting in a different varieties as per their texture and in a different color. But the naturally only white, cream or yellowish color natural silk fibers we used to get. But with the help of dyeing process, as per the demand of the manufacturing units of the silk saris and silk cloths, nowadays with the help of a dyeing process, they are giving the different colors to these natural silk fibers, and that's why only it is possible to make a different variety and different color silk saris. Okay, that's why only in our last session I told you to ask to your parents or grandparents about these silk sarees. In everyone's home, one or two types of silk sarees available surely. So you just observe the texture of these silk sarees. In India, women are significantly involved in a various kinds of industrial related silk production. Some are engaged in a rearing of silkworms. Some are working in a reeling of silk fibers from the cocoon. Some are engaged in a processing of raw silk into fabrics, and that's why only their enterprises and they contribute to the nation's economy. That's why this silk production units and the sericulture units it helps to our India's economy. China leads in the world in a silk production, but then too our India is not less than the China. India also in the rank among these leading silk producing countries, and so many silk saree production units are present all over the India. That's why only in the market so many different variety of silk sarees are available. Here, our third lesson completed. I hope everyone understood each point of the chapter 3. Now, here, as our third lesson completed, all of you read carefully one or two times this chapter 3, and all the notes also given by the Ruby teacher on our class group. That's why all of you complete your writing work in the notebook, and after reading these notes and the chapter 3 from the textbook, you try to solve the exercise questions, and if any doubt will be there, you feel free to call me. Okay students, here we completed our chapter 3.